I mean, um, in
Welcome for
theory,
this.
we could use the script and start practicing our social media skills.
In theory.
It's a possibility.
All right.
Hello, everyone. We got Colleen from Idaho is on. Rob is saying hey. Who all do we have today? Let's move some things around.
Our friends. All
Our
our friends.
friends are here. Uh-oh. I
I'm
think I
trying
need
to
to
remember
plug
how to do
in.
this.
Need to plug in my headphones. They're unhappy with me at the moment.
Oh, I don't even have mine in. I was waiting patiently and apparently just not doing the things I needed to do. There we go.
No, I'm
We can
on.
do this.
Not like we haven't done it for like almost a year's
Almost
worth of
50.
episodes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that a giant one again?
No, it's regular
You
size.
can't tell. The scale is thrown off. I'm drinking a bottle of wine because we ran out of
That
high noon.
didn't turn out too well for you last time. I'm just gonna say.
I'm
We had to cut
I
off like
started this one
45 minutes
earlier.
early.
That's not probably what you want to hear.
Hi, Twyla. I would have started earlier if I had not had pizza that
Oh,
did not
pizza.
agree with me. Yeah, but it's like the
Yeah.
fast food pizza, like not the Stephanie made it from
Well,
scratch
your
pizza.
Italian body is like, no,
It was very unhappy with me.
this is
I
what I'm
think the
enjoying today.
problem was that
It's
ooh,
from
yummy, yummy.
Costco.
Kirkland does some good things. I'm all about the Kirkland brand. It's all
Toilet
good.
paper, wine, whatever you need.
I
Coffins,
know, right? You're not serious on
all
the
in that
coffins, are
order.
you?
Whatever.
I mean, we have giant Pokemon things, Squishmallows from there.
And we have a little bit of everything from Costco now.
Yes.
Why
But
am I all of a sudden hungry? Because I came down here. That's why.
that's why, yes. I will not be hungry for like a day after feeling icky from the pizza, I feel
Probably
like.
not.
But yes. I think it's because I was tired and I was like, I'm gonna lay down for like 90 minutes. Because I like, you know me. Chantel needs a 15-minute nap. I need a full sleep cycle.
It's true. She needs the
It's
full
the
sleep
full, I
cycle.
need the full
The
sleep
thing is
cycle.
that I can take the full nap too, but like you have to have the full cycle.
I
Like
do.
you don't do in between.
Sometimes I need two full sleep cycles. It just depends on how exhausted I am.
A
But so
nap is a mini night's sleep for her.
yeah, basically. So I laid down and I had just finished eating not long before that. And I
We
think
can't do
it
that
was
anymore.
just like not enough digestive situation. But
Yeah, we can't do that anymore.
yes. I
We've
have
reached
two
our
different
prime.
medications for my tummy, prescription medications. So no, I definitely cannot do that anymore. I'm too old.
Nah, maybe I'll get
Oh,
my animal crackers out. I leave a box of animal crackers down here. This is my go-to.
I would not be able to control myself. That thing would be gone in a week. I think we've
They're
had this
not so
conversation
good that I
before.
like them that much. It's only when I really need a nosh or I need sugar. So, bye bye, little goat.
It's all good. It is all good.
What are you working on? Your
I'm still on the
ornaments, yeah?
ornaments. Yep. I'm gonna try to get through. I did like half of a stack last time, sewing like sash into it, and press them open. So I'm gonna try and get through the second half this time. But thank you, Julie. I just was not feeling great last night or last week. It had been a rough week. I went to full time at work, and there was just a lot of
We were both
other
in
things
agreement.
happening, and Stephanie needed a mental health day. So it was what it was. I just needed to go to bed and start the day fresh with a new week the
Try
next day.
again.
That was what I needed.
Mulligan.
So pretty much. I definitely needed a mulligan. But
Well, I while you were gone that night,
Chantel
I
has
made
done many things this week.
I yeah, I'm on fire. I'm also undoing projects almost as quickly as I do them, as I was making my dress and made the perfect puffy sleeves. They were so cute. And then
There
and
was
then
photographic evidence of this.
there was evidence of this. And then I surged right through the sleeve.
It happens.
So I gave the sleeve to Brittany. She's using it for fussy cutting mini hexies.
That's
So
lovely.
yes,
It's got
hi.
one sleeve.
It's got one sleeve and the other sleeve is like hulked off
Okay.
the side.
I feel like you need to like search the interwebs for like another half yard of that so
I
that you
have
can
it.
finish it.
I
You
have
do.
it, but I decided that I better work on my real dress because I've learned all the lessons I need to learn, I think.
You did tell me this. I just didn't realize that you didn't have enough fabric.
Oh, I do have enough fabric. I've just kind of decided that if I keep on going on this dress, the likelihood of me being dressed in this one, the final one, computer, I need to show them things other than me. This fabric, I need to sew it in that fabric more. And it's
Yeah.
drapier too. I think it'll actually bode well, but this was looking so cute.
It is looking super cute. I love that. Is
And
it, it's Allison class.
yeah, it
Very
was
cute.
looking so cute. And then I decided to move on after because I need to make a whole new sleeve. I need to cut a whole new sleeve and do the whole caboodle to it. And then I started working on the skirt, and then I popped my basting stitches on
I got an
two out of the
emergency phone
three
call
areas.
about the basting stitches this week,
I'm like, is there any way to fix this? Not
and there
really.
was kind of.
We're gonna fix it. It's gonna get. Eh,
You'll get there.
it would have been easier if it just
Honestly, at
did
this
it the first
point,
time.
to just add a sleeve and then um finish the skirt, like you're
I
at
know.
least by 2/3 of the way there on that dress.
That's kind of why I've moved on because it was
You've
like
had your
I've
fun
learned.
with it.
Well, I've learned
Hi,
what I need to
Amy.
learn,
Amy's
but
in
I'm so
Ohio.
stressed
I
about
get that.
having
Yes.
something to wear. I got my long arm
I
back. It was a week. I got my long arm back. Finally, it works. And it didn't take me
always
that
good.
long to get it working again. I was afraid I was going to ruin it. Oh,
Wouldn't that
excuse
be
me.
awful if it took you that long to get it fixed and then you messed it up like day one?
I was
I would
so
have
worried
cried.
because I took the encoder off for the stitch regulator to go
Yeah.
upstairs. And then John's like, I'm not sure how to put this back on. I was like, that was critical information you were supposed to take into your brain, John.
And
Critical.
stay in there.
I'm like, we don't have a chart, sweetheart. We can't just,
Yeah.
you know.
Do it. Ugh.
Hmm.
Chantel and I might do a joint where we're in the same like vicinity in a couple weeks.
Without baking.
Yeah, without baking, we won't. We're not gonna have a baking show this time.
That
And
was
I
fun though.
also maybe we also should not be drinking high noons every hour on the hour for the entire day. It's a thought.
It's something we'll consider.
Oh, I
Depends if
do
I
have
go
to
to
work
Costco
that
before
day.
then.
I do
Oh
have to
yeah.
work that day. So
We might
maybe
end
we
up
could
being
just
apart
start
that
later.
night and then together the next day. Oh my
It'll be
goodness.
interesting.
I am
You're sneezing. You got all the
clearly all
dusty.
the animal dander from these animal crackers.
I don't think it works that way,
Oh, well, shoot.
unfortunately.
Hmm.
Chantel's coming up my way on Sunday for my daughter's birthday, and I've already
Mhm.
told her she's not allowed in my house because I have all the animal
I'm
dander
like,
right
it can't
now.
be that bad.
I did tell my husband, I was like, if you get the kids to pick up the stuff on the floor, I will spend the time to figure out how to reconnect the robot vacuum, and then it can
That
do our
is
job for
work.
us. It
Those
is.
robot vacuums are
It is
amazing,
literally
but
like
then
an
they
hour of
drive
my
over
life.
dog pee.
It's more like every single time something gets screwy with our internet, it like goes offline.
It forgets. Yeah.
And it's like an hour to get it back where it needs to be. Like I probably should plug it in tonight so it's totally charged. That would be the smart thing for me to do.
Today,
We're
Stephanie,
we're so old. We're literally talking about stomach issues and robot vacuums. And oh my goodness. What happened to us?
as I eat animal crackers and drink a bottle of wine.
We
So
also were joking today because I was in the drive-through at McDonald's while I had Chantel on the phone. And I was,
don't tell her husband.
yeah, I know. Well, he found out. I already got in trouble.
Oh darn.
But he's like, I'm like, do you remember when these were on the dollar menu? And it was like a $5.50 bill for like two
Back when
things.
I was a kid.
And she's like, we're officially those people who are like, this used to be a nickel. And I'm like, yeah, we are. We
It was not that
definitely
long
are.
ago that a large drink was $1, okay? It was like a year ago.
I didn't even get a large. I got a medium
I
fry and a
know.
medium Coke, and it was like
$5.
$5.50. And I'm just like, this is ridiculous.
Like you can go to
That used to
Dairy
be $2
Queen.
and like 10 cents.
You can go to Dairy Queen and get a fry, a chicken strip, a drink, and an ice cream for $7.
That's insane.
They have like a whole meal thing. And I'm saying you had a fry and a drink,
I had a fry and a drink.
and you could have had an ice cream.
I know.
Could
It's
have.
sad. I had a whole chicken fajita for about the same price at a Mexican restaurant earlier in the week with rice and
Okay,
beans.
your McDonald's meal was like unnecessarily expensive though.
Clearly. Clearly, it's too
She
much
needed
money.
it though.
I just needed, I don't know. So my favorite place to work is this coffee shop slash bookstore called the Atlas Collective in Moline, where I live. And I love it, but they don't do food. So they have their licenses just for drinks and then anything that's
Gotcha.
pre-prepared and pre-packaged. And refrigeration is like very heavily regulated. So they just haven't gotten to the point where they're like able to have like a lunch, like a pre-prepared sandwich from somewhere. They're working on it. And I'm like, you would have all my money if I could just get a lunch from you two. I would just be here all day, and every 2 hours I would come and I would buy something new and give you more tips. And I would do
You're
this
like
several
you could
days a
even
week.
order based on what it is that I want because I would be guaranteed to buy it.
I know, right?
I put in my order at the beginning of the week.
Basically. Give me a BLTA. That sounds fabulous.
Hmm.
In a wrap. Yummy, yummy.
See, I'm hungry. My my animal crackers are like sawdust.
Yeah, that does not sound as good as a BLTA, that's for sure.
But that's why I keep them down here because they're not so appetizing that I eat them all.
I need to get back to the gym. I've been like way off on my healthy eating and
It's
journey and
hard. It's
getting back at the gym. Like,
Maycember.
I know we talked about this. Like May for a mother is like just as bad as December is.
It's bad.
Dance is done next week though, which means my running around after school is going to be done as of Thursday, which will be
Well, isn't that when
fabulous.
school basically ends?
I mean that too, yeah. But but I still have to sign them up for it. But they get to go to camp where they get to go from 8 in the morning to 5 o'clock at night, and I get to work and not worry about getting somebody early and all the good things.
Oh,
So I'm very
that'll be
excited about
nice.
this. I know, right? It's like we get some autonomy back.
My
Let's
kids are
see,
in like multiple different things. So it's
things.
like every week's a different adventure.
I learned my lesson about that. They are either going to grandma and grandpa's for an entire week, like Sunday to Saturday, so I don't have to do an exchange in the week, or they are at the one camp where I don't have to move them here, there, and the other place. Because I've done that before, and it's
Mine are by the week
exhausting.
though.
It's exhausting.
It's in the week bulk. Like they have one camp one week, they have one camp another week, they have a different camp the next week, they have 2 weeks off, they have the third camp again, they have a week off, they have the third camp again.
Yeah, I've done that before too. There's
So
one that we
there's some
have
things
done, but it's like from 9 to 4. And it's like if you're trying to work and you have to drop off at 9 and pick up at 4, like that's impossible.
that kind of cuts you slim.
Yeah, but
I'm missing a piece.
hello, Suzanne. Hello, Amy. Julie's working on a bunch of works in progress that she needs company for. We're happy to give you company. I swear
Oh
the
yeah,
only time I make progress on this project is when I'm on the live. But it's
that's what
because
this
my
project is.
my creative endeavors have been fulfilled elsewhere, however. So
Oh
that's
yeah,
why. Like fully fulfilled. But
she's in the zone, guys.
I'm in the zone.
Not the zone I'm in. I'm in a
No.
sewing zone
You're
this
in a
week.
sewing zone. You did it fabulous. You got so much done this week.
I know. I
She
got
was
part of a
saying that
handbag done.
her husband was questioning how much she actually did around the house because she accomplished so much in her sewing room.
That's because I kept on getting up in the middle of the night because I couldn't sleep.
Well, that
That's
happens.
unfair, but he really was. Sorry, I have to look for a piece that I'm missing because I'm pretty sure
It's
I
all good.
used it for something else. So I am still here, but my camera is going to be very confused
It's all good. It can be confusing.
and looking for me.
But
But really, where's the piece?
at some point,
Hmm.
we should plan like an actual sew day where we send our children elsewhere on
You
like a
mean like a
Sunday or
mini
something.
retreat? We need a
Yeah, just
retreat
like a
again.
Sunday. Just a Sunday. Like maybe I could come out on a Saturday night or something so we
God,
can start first thing Sunday. And bribe John to handle all things children related that day.
it is a bribe. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. And
No, you can't make so much meat that you can't pay attention to them.
basically, and then you and I can have the day. We can get out your design wall and I can get at least this one into Rose. So if I can get it into Rose, then
The
I'm
design
set.
wall is not easily accessible, but I do have my portable one that I made.
That would be fun. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That could be fun.
Let's see here.
That could be funsies.
I am having the sniffles. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna blow my nose.
It's all good.
Everybody's gonna hear me blow my nose. At least it's not like Stephanie blowing her nose.
I sound like an old grandpa when I blow my nose. It is
Oh my
ridiculous.
God, it's ridiculous.
I have a large Italian nose. I don't know what else you expect from me. Like, I
It
sound like an
sounds
old
like
grandpa.
it doesn't sound like her.
You know what I do
Hmm.
actually that is very much old grandpa? About every 3 months I get my nose hairs waxed. Literally.
Ouch.
Otherwise, it's not as bad as it
Girl.
sounds. It's not as bad as it sounds. But literally, like
It's
I'm
not as
starting to
bad as
get
it sounds.
grandpa nose hairs that like just like they poked it's bad. And I'm like, I'm not at the level where I don't care anymore about this. Like it needs to go away. So like about every 3 months or so
Oh
it
my God.
bothers me. And when I'm in for like my eyebrow wax, I'm like, it's time.
I'll drink to that. That's
Let's
ridiculous.
take care of this.
Mm.
Does John get like weird random long hairs yet? Because Adam gets like two on his eyebrows that'll go like 2 inches long and are like gray, like totally gray. None of the rest of his eyebrow hair is
Wait,
gray,
one
but
on
these
each
two are.
side. Does it look evil?
No, it's usually they grow on the same one and they're not always there at the same time. But it's hilarious because every once in a while I'll just look over at him and he's got the long eyebrow just hanging out there.
Up there?
And I
Yeah, I
take
know.
great pleasure
We're
in plucking that out and he knows it. And
Oh, that would
it's
be
just too
fun.
entertaining. It is very entertaining, I can tell you.
Uh, what's the best way to cut out a pattern? Do you put a mat under it and cut
What
it
are
out
you cutting?
like the skirt or the
Oh,
bodice?
I put a mat under it and then I put like they make like legit pattern weights, but
I
like
know, I'm
your
just
cell
pinning
phone and
it.
your scissors and stuff will work. Um, and I actually use a rotary cutter and go around it.
Okay, I pin it down because I want
Yeah.
my pieces to be with.
Now, Steph 2.0 will consider that sacrilege that I cut out the patterns with the rotary cutter. I'm just going to
Oh,
tell you.
well,
She's all about the shears, but I just zoom around and I use a little one, the little, I think it's a 10 millimeter, um, when I'm doing smaller pieces like kids' clothing or
hmm.
armholes and stuff like that.
I'll just be happy to get this pinned together. I pin my pieces on because otherwise I forget what was what.
That's understandable.
So if the pieces are pinned to it, it's harder to forget what they are, which is why I couldn't find that one pattern piece. It was still pinned to the bottom of the last skirt.
I have definitely done that. And then also like you forget because it gets, off somehow. And then you're like holding the pattern piece up to the different things and like, which one is this supposed to
Yeah,
be?
I've never had that problem. Well, I'm not that versed in this, but I always pin my pieces because I've never been one of those
Yeah.
people that's like, these pieces are sacred. I'm like, these pieces are literally getting smashed back into the box, and that's where they're going to live. Like, I'm going to make this pattern at tops 3 or 4 times. It's a simplicity pattern.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know. This one's really cute though. It might
it
get made
is.
more, but
It turned out super adorable.
I'm not making it in different sizes. I'm not worried about tracing it out or anything like that. I did just get a new book about fitting and things like that because that's something I am way concerned about in general for future garments.
Yeah.
This one doesn't matter so much. It's more like a gathered paper sack.
Yeah.
So it has shape, as in I have the shape in it, but the dress itself doesn't really, it's like fluttery. I should show everybody the pattern
Yeah.
wherever the cover is.
You're gonna see some boobs and then it'll be flowy.
Yeah,
And
boobs and
that's all.
flowy,
Yep.
like this one.
It's
But
cute.
I'm doing these sleeves because I like a puff sleeve. Now it's interested in what I have to show.
Your
A puff
camera's
sleeve.
working with you correctly. This is always good.
For once, because it saw a person.
That's probably it.
I just need to hold
You
up
confused
whatever it
it.
is that I want to show you with like her head next to it.
That's a really interesting hack to learn.
Yeah, the things you learn. Oh, my attention span is not here. Okay, come on, girl.
Really, neither is mine. Let's be honest. I'm
I'm
like
trying. We're trying.
all over the place today.
Let's see. How many of
But
these I have to come? Three?
Suzanne says it's very pretty.
Oh, thank you. The
So
one I made was really pretty, except for, until the sleeve helped.
it
The
happens.
sleeve happened.
Oh, my back is
It's
killing
okay
me.
though.
I spent too much time sitting in bed this week working on the computer
You
and
need to get
reading
bed
things.
sores. We're like
I
ancient now.
I don't have a bed sore. I have a crippled back is what I have.
Oh, is that what we're at? We're
That
not to
is
bed
definitely where we're
sores
at.
yet.
Yes. So last week,
Wear seamless pants.
Stephanie needed a mental health break last week. I went to full time at work and then I had some other things happen that were just like stressful and I couldn't handle it. I needed to go to bed. And
She needed a
and
night night.
I
It had been
did.
a few days since she had slept well.
I mean, that's my entire life. Did I
Yeah,
tell
right. Like
you
my entire last 10
I
years with kids.
officially have sleep apnea? Did I tell you that?
No.
Speaking of old people things.
Oh
So
Lord.
I did a sleep study and I stopped breathing 2.6 times a night, which is not enough to have insurance cover a CPAP machine. You need to stop breathing 5 times a night for them to pay for it. So I still have to call
What?
and figure out how to finagle that. But
You have okay.
so
You don't
apparently,
stop breathing enough, even though
yeah,
you stop breathing.
it's like you would think stopping breathing 1 time a night would be like, okay, insurance company, let's make sure their heart doesn't get stressed out and die. Like,
No,
you know, Hobby Lobby
never.
does sell patterns, and you can also get them online. I've bought a lot of patterns online over the years, Colleen. A lot of patterns that I've never ever made, but I have them and they look pretty on my wall. So,
Oh yeah, I feel that.
yep, that's the story of my life, I feel like. But
I
but
love
yeah,
reading patterns.
I know they're fun to look at, and I've even bought fabric for some of them. I keep telling myself that if I get myself back in shape, I will be more excited about sewing clothing for myself.
I feel like that's actually very true. It's just like not very exciting to make something that is like really big and not,
Yeah,
yeah, not what you
yeah,
wanted.
pretty much. Exactly.
You're like, I'm not the hanger for the outfit. That's why doll clothes are fun.
They are. They turn out looking good most of the time.
There's like no editing needed. Dolls don't complain when you're done,
Nope. Or if you have to shove them into it.
right? You like turn them over and shake them into the outfit, and they are like completely fine with that. Okay, I don't know how she does this with shears. Maybe I don't know how to use scissors.
Um, you have the flat side down,
I got that
like
far.
fully in contact with the mat. And then you just kind of work a little bit at a time as you go around. This is why I use a rotary cutter. I just zip around it and call it a day.
It feels foreign, is all.
Yeah. It's probably not something you're used to either.
I'm
So
like, I could do
Adam,
this.
speaking of like rotary cutters, so my husband comes in, he's like, there's a show on Netflix called The Quilters. I'm like, I do, but I don't really know what it's about. It's about men in prison who are making
People are
quilts for
talking all
foster
over
kids.
about this.
Yeah. And I'm like, this is really cool, but how are they cutting everything? Like this is what I want to know. Like how like how are they managing that? Like are they getting access to
Does it
rotary
say
cutters? Because we
so in the
all
show?
know
Did you watch
I
it
don't
yet?
know. I haven't watched it yet. He was just
It's
like
only
showing me
like
this little
34
thing.
minutes or something like that.
I'm gonna have to watch it. I need to know if they have access to rotary cutters because it seems like you would need special permission to like
A lot of
I
these
don't know.
people have been in for a while and are on
Yeah,
good
true.
behavior, I'm sure. Yay! The first
Yay. Is that the
piece.
back?
Um,
It looks like the back.
yes. Yes.
Very nice.
Took me a second there. It's like, is it the back? Yes.
Hmm. So you
Okay.
know how
I'll
I told
use
you I was
oh, go
gonna
ahead.
read before I wrote anything else?
Yeah.
I lied.
I'm not surprised.
I went straight back to the outline for book three and have been screwing around with that since I woke up and
This
was
is
trying
the
to,
book she's writing,
yes.
and she can't stop.
I can't. I have a first draft of book two, which is, I know sounds really dumb because I haven't actually done book one, but it was book two's more fun. And
The story lends itself to fleshing out book two first.
it does. I was trying to explain this to my husband because, like, she starts off in a nervous but confident place and then, like, slowly devolves over the course of the book and ends book two or book one at a bad place and then gets her groove back and is able to like rise above it in book two. And then book three is when she like really like finally gets her stuff together. So like I felt like I needed to know where like she was starting and ending
Yeah,
to really feel like where she was at. But
I have a pocket. I have a
woo,
kidney.
pockets are perfect. DK said a great place to enjoy a book or lunch in the Quad Cities is the Moline Public Library Outdoor Gardens that opened. I have not been over to the outdoor gardens. I
I
have
haven't
definitely
either. I've been to
worked.
that library.
I've been to that library to work in the summertime. If I'm trying to get my kids to do something to entertain themselves, I'll take like a study room and let them fart around where I can see them. But I have not been outside though.
Library with a public garden. That sounds like
I need to check it
lovely.
out. I do need to check it. You could drive by it on Sunday on your way out of town because it'll be pretty close to where you're at.
Isn't that East Moline?
Yeah, but you could drive by on your way out. You'll have to get back that way anyway to head to 74.
No, we end up going over to 80.
Do you?
Yeah, we end up
Not
going
like
over
the
to
time I
80.
accidentally went on 80 and
But yeah,
did the
you have to make sure you go on to 74 eventually,
one time I was on my
Miss.
way to Chantel's and I was like, so I got distracted and accidentally went the
Tell
wrong
them how
highway
you figured it
for
out,
a
though.
long time. No,
There were
I'm not
too
going to say that
many.
on the internet.
Oh, like you haven't said worse an hour and a half later. There were
So
too many
there
triple
is,
X rated
yes,
specialty stores signs on the way. And that's how you know you're on Interstate 80 versus
yes,
74.
pretty much.
74 is all like harmless, there's a steak and shake at the
Yeah,
next exit.
I started seeing
Interstate
the
80
ads
is like
and I was
girls and
like,
cars.
I am not on the right road.
I'm not on the right road. It's not
Oh
like you
goodness.
were stopping there. It was
No, I was
just,
not. I was just noticing the banners and I was like, this is not on 74, this is on 80, and I am way past the exit I was supposed to take. And whoops.
yeah, that was kind of,
Ah,
that was funny.
oh goodness. There's always a funny story. DK just ripped out cross-stitch mistakes and is stopping for the evening, so she's gonna enjoy the conversation. You know what? Sometimes when you get to a point where you've like royally screwed up, you're just like, I just need to be done for tonight, and tomorrow will be a new day. Exactly. What time of day did you go through the sleeve? Was this an
Oh, it
evening
was
thing?
like at lunch.
Also, you can't even blame it on being like 10 o'clock at night.
No, no, that was purely a blissful. I had the sleeve all the way on. They were both perfect. I went in to serge it,
I know, I saw the picture.
and then I accidentally cupped the sleeve into the seam
Yep.
and cut it with the serger.
I've done that when I was figuring out how to use the serger and I was doing pajama pants. I did that.
Yeah,
That's fine.
see, this is me
So
trying to figure out how to use the serger.
it's a common mistake. You're not the only one to have done it. I've done it.
Well, now I'm extra cautious, so I guess, it had to happen. But it's too bad because that sleeve was very cute.
It was very
It,
cute. And at
now
least
it's
you have enough fabric to finish it at some
yes,
point.
I do have enough fabric, and I just realized I had a little extra in my stash. So there's the stuff that I had and I had washed, but then
Hmm.
I actually have an extra yard of it that I had bought separately
Oh, perfect.
because I liked it so much and I got it for such a good deal. It's a really great color. So I found that the other day. I was like, oh, I have a whole nother stash of this
So you're
because it
good.
had all those cute little
Little
things that
bits.
you
Yeah.
could fussy, but at the same time, it was a radio, like a radio gradient,
Yeah.
it's pretty.
Hello, Linda. She's from Nana coming in from Pennsylvania. She says she's nodding off while crocheting. That would
Hey,
sound, I would
nodding
mess,
off to crochet and
I would
sleeping with
mess
us
up some
here.
significantly if I was that tired and doing crochet. I've
I
been looking
mean,
at my temperature blanket recently. It's like staring at me in the face in my bedroom. And I'm just like, am I ever going to get back to this? And do I have enough
God,
yarn? And if I don't, it is way too late because it all came from Joann's.
yeah.
So, oh well, I'll go as
Sorry,
far
that
as I can
funeral
go.
is over. You can't, you know.
I'm sure there is no more big twists for me to go get.
Ooh. Look, I have
You have a boob.
and I got one boob. Well, I got two boobs technically. It's a double-sided.
Ooh, fancy.
I really like this fabric. I got to put my face up here for it to be
It is
happy.
really cute.
But
That'll
it
be
has
fun.
little mushrooms and like
I
little
mean,
gold
it
flecks.
looks it's got a lot going on in it, but it looks like a solid from a distance, so it's not like too
It's
busy.
my kind of solid.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Oh, I didn't show everybody my purse I've been making.
Yes.
This is super
Chantel's been
cute.
all over the place this week.
So
She's been
I
getting
am
lots of
making a
things done.
little clasp handbag. Let's see if it'll see. I'm there. There we go. So I got
There
my
were
little clasp.
discussions. That is a perfect fussy cut, by the way.
Thank you.
There were
It worked out
discussions
really well.
of will an EpiPen fit in this pattern? And I was like, honestly, I don't know. So,
Now that was the Diva wallet. So I decided not
yes,
to do the Diva wallet and I did the pleated clutch by the same brand of people.
so many creations.
Yeah,
She's good. Her patterns
because
are good. I like
I
her.
had three of these clasps I bought them from you actually
Did you?
because I thought
A
that they
while
were
ago.
really cool and I wanted to be able to um yeah, make some of the bags. So I bought the pattern and then
Linda likes
but
your purse.
I have oh thank you. I have to kind of get it together and then you have to kind of fussy push it in here and glue it.
Yeah.
So
Do you have the
we'll try
glue?
not to do that at midnight.
Do you have the glue or do you need me to bring some glue
It says
or
that
send you
you
home
can
with some
use
glue?
E6000 or it
Yeah.
suggests the Gooderman um glue.
I think
But
I
that's
have
like
Guterman.
$15 a little bottle.
I think I have some.
Do you?
I don't know how old it is and if it still works, but
Oh,
I can
that's
send
fair.
it with you on Sunday.
That would be awesome. I would gladly give it a shot if I haven't already
Chantel
tried to
is,
put it together.
Suzanne
Oh,
also says nice purse.
oh,
Don't
thanks.
stab yourself.
I, you know,
We already talked about this. Your own
don't
saliva will get your own blood out of your fabric. And I have
doesn't
tested
stop the
this
sting
theory.
though.
No, it doesn't. That's accurate.
Ow. I really got
Goodness.
myself there. I have Tula Pink's little unicorn pins and they're
Oh, those are
super
cute.
cute and everything, but they're a thick pin. They're not like I have some of these little glass ones that are so delicate and lovely, but they're not always the best at keeping multiple layers together.
Yeah.
But I love these for what they do. And I love my double-headed pins. I don't know if any of you guys have these, but these like
I've never
double-headed
used
ones.
anything like that.
So
It
they're
looks
like
interesting though.
fork pins, but they're like, you know how you tend to put a pin on each side of a seam to keep those, so you get your perfect corners when you,
I don't do it, but I know what you mean.
yeah, like these are
Hmm.
those do the same thing, but in one pin instead of two. But
Makes sense.
these little guys are wonderful and they're thick and they go through fabric really well, but they also go through your finger really well. So
Julie's laughing at you. She says doesn't stop the sting.
it doesn't. It still stings. I guess drink some more,
But it does.
right? Can't
Yeah, that will
can't
help
hurt.
stop the sting.
That'll help stop the sting. Just
Oh, Suzanne also uses double pins all the time.
mm, they're great. They're like cheating in the best way.
Hmm.
No cheating in quilting is actually cheating. You
No,
just did it
it's a
smarter.
shortcut. Exactly. Exactly.
And I
Oh,
guess in
goodness.
sewing now too, because I am a garment sewer now.
You are. You've made,
I made a half a dress.
you did. You got most of, you could be a crop top. You could be fancy
I am
and
a
in
one
style.
sleeve crop. It's deconstructed.
It is.
You know
It's
what
perfect.
though? It taught me what I wanted at the front. It tells you to just kind of tack it right here. Well, that cuts too low for your bra. So once I tried it on, the top was a great fit, but I gotta have this overlapped a little bit.
Yeah.
And luckily the skirt is gathered,
Yeah.
and so you have room to like zhuzh.
Well, and those patterns are probably made for somebody who's like 5'6" and we're vertically challenged, so you'll be fine.
I'm a little worried about the lower skirt being too long for me, being that I like my stuff short anyways because I
Well,
have
that's
legs.
easier
Yeah, I feel like I
to
can
chop off.
finagle that, but if I get far enough on this and I get to that part, I might try to attach the lower ruffle to the upper skirt on the other dress first to see if the length is good for me. And if not, I will adjust.
That'll be
But
fine.
otherwise, we're just kind of going with it.
I mean, yeah, that's easy because you're just
I
gonna
have
cut
not
like X
started my
amount of inches
shoes,
off. Well, you
but
have
I
till when? Middle of June?
June 21st.
Oh yeah. You're doing good.
Yeah.
You're
Although I
doing
just
good.
realized my father-in-law said that they're going out of town. Damn.
So that means less help with children.
Well, yeah, that might be a problem for that, but maybe I can get him to come back a day early, 2 days early.
Let's see. Liz says she's working on a commission t-shirt quilt and adding
Oh,
the
fun.
satin and cornerstones this morning, but she is ripping because the quilt was not flat. Oh, that is unfortunate.
Ugh. I don't
I
like
hate
to
it when I
hear
have
that
to
people
rip.
have to suffer.
Ripping is like my least favorite thing. I hate it when people call it unsewing because I feel like it's just like too nice of a term for what you have to do. Like, let's
You're
just call it what it
unsewing it.
is.
Unsewing it means that the goal was for it to not be
Yes,
sewn.
exactly.
Although, if it makes somebody feel better, I'm okay with it. It wouldn't make me feel
Suzanne,
better.
Suzanne has spent almost 12 hours shopping at the All Pacific Northwest Shop Hop today. And
Wow,
she's
what'd you
done two
get?
regions. I know we need
We
details.
need details.
What goodies did you find?
We
I
need
have
to
not done a
know.
shop hop in like I think since Angela was a baby.
That's not true.
Oh wait, that's true. You and I did a little mini shop hop.
We did that and we did one on our cruise.
We did. We went through all of London.
We did
That was
that
fun.
and we did the one before we even started.
That's also true.
They've all
Not
been
like
with
a day
me,
long. They have
okay?
been. This is accurate. You're my shop hop friend.
Every shop hop I've ever been on has been with Stephanie. I
This
did
is
get some
true.
new fabric not that long ago. You could probably guess what it is.
I'm assuming Tula Pink.
It's her new one, yeah.
Yeah.
I
That
bought
one
it from
looks
the local shop though.
not as vibrant as she's done in the
You
past.
know what
Like
though?
it still
It's
looks like her
so
colors.
juicy though.
Yeah.
Like it's funny because I didn't plan these together, but like if you look at these together,
Like, well,
they
that's just her
they have
color
those
palette in general.
same like yummy yummy tones. And she has more orange in this, which makes me very happy as an orange and pink person.
You are an orange and pink person.
It does have a lot of purple, but it's lavender. And
Someday I need to do something with all my Tula Pink back orders.
what you gonna do? Make
I don't
that
know.
boob quilt I suggested?
There's literally there's
B
that.
O O B O
We're discussing, if you were not here on that episode, how this is a mug rug pattern. that also doubles as a quilt pattern. It's the only one I've done that doubles. And she's like, you could do a boo quilt. She's like, no, that'll look like boob across your entire quilt. Boo,
Because
boo,
she
boob.
had the one, she had the mug rugs that
A
say
Halloween
boo,
one that says
like
boo.
BOO. And I was like, you
So
can
it's
make that into a
cute.
quilt too. And then I thought about that.
You
It,
did.
it was just say boob all
This
over the
sounds
place.
like, have I ever told you the story when I just figured out what our
Oh
acronym is for
yeah.
our name? Oh yeah, this is a
I
good one.
love this story. I
So
think about it often. Every time I look at Pottery Barn catalogs, actually, and anytime I see anything monogrammed.
So I was sitting in a cake shop deciding what wedding cake I wanted with my mother. And there was this really gorgeous design and it had the acronym or the monogram at the top. And I was like, well, what goes where? Because I'm like 23. This is not something you know when you're 23. And they're like, well, the last name is in the middle and then the man's first name goes first. And I was like, okay, so that's A-S-S. And I'm not registering. I'm saying it out loud, but it's not computing in my brain. And my mother goes, "You can't put that on your cake. It smells ass." And then we're just like laughing our asses off then at that.
I think you should have
And
had an ass cake.
this story gets told to my aunt, who has a very wry sense of humor. And I had signature quote blocks at my wedding for people to sign. And it was really great because I thought people would just sign their names, but they actually did really sweet messages. And my aunt gave me a monogram quote block that she put in this beautiful script, and it's in the dead center of my signature quilt.
Says ass.
I know, right? My
Lovely.
ass quilt. There was also one message that did not make it into the quilt that I accidentally read aloud in front of my grandmother. And then she goes, "What's that?" I'm like, "Nothing,
It
Grandma.
wasn't
It's
mine, was
nothing.
it? Were we
It
well
was not
behaved?
yours. You were behaved. You behaved yourself. I
Okay.
think you drew a bridge on it, actually. I'll do homework before next week and I will
She says so.
find it. I'll find it and look at it. I'm not sure where it's at right now. I'm sure it's on this wall somewhere. Actually, it's right there. I
You
see it.
you bought me a you probably don't even remember this. At my bridal shower, you bought me a colander. Still have that colander.
It would have been on
Use
your registry. It's not like I
used it
picked it
all. I
out.
use it all the time. Obviously a very memorable gift.
I also gave you my pot roast recipe.
Yes.
Yep. Which you did not use, I don't think.
I
But
no. But you know what? Everybody believed in me back then that
we
I could
did.
become.
We thought you would cook. It was all good.
Oh, jokes on you all.
Oh, you're
I don't
funny.
cook. I mean, I can.
She cooked 3 days in a row the other week, and her children were like shocked.
But Hazel was
Just
like,
shocked.
"Oh, I wasn't expecting to see you in the oven." It's like, darn, that was a big deal. The thing is that I literally made macaroni and cheese one day, and I made like a pasta bake thing one day. No, I made pasta, and then I turned it into a bake the next day.
Yeah,
So it all counts, but
it
it's
does.
not exactly like it was hard or anything. Oh my God, you would have thought I had fucking run a marathon today because I did 5 loads of laundry and I thought John was just about to lose it because he's like, "You did laundry? You did a
But
couple
like in
loads
a
of
good way.
laundry?"
He was in a good way. He was going to lose it.
Yeah. But he was so surprised that it was almost painful because I don't
Oh,
normally tell
goodness.
him if I do it. I just kind of do it
It
and put
just
the towels
happens.
away or
Yeah,
whatever. And
he noticed
yeah,
today.
he noticed. It was like
Pauline
a
says hello. She has insomnia in Scotland. Again.
insomnia in Scotland. Well, you're welcome.
I'm sorry.
Welcome here.
Yes, always.
We'll take you wherever you are. Scotland
I know,
sounds
right?
lovely.
That would be fun. The
This is
sheets.
so boring.
What, your garment sewing or cutting the pattern?
Cutting the pattern.
Oh, well, yeah.
That's not
That's not your
that's
fun
not
part. That's
my
not your
favorite
happy
part.
place.
No.
I'm about to
The
start
wine's
questioning
helping.
things. I bet it is. It might not
Hmm.
help you cut accurately.
I'm gonna think I did a great job until I look at these pattern pieces tomorrow and only have one sleeve and
It's not like you're doing like a custom corset where it has to be exactly.
No,
the right
no, we
thing. Like it'll be fine. You'll live.
is there a like these sleeves are not that different left from right. Like, couldn't I just
Technically, the back is has a different curve, I believe.
I
I
may
don't
have put the
know.
wrong, I don't know.
I don't know all the things,
I don't know.
but I know that there is a front and a back on sleeves.
Darn it.
Oh,
The fabric
I
is
keep
supposed to
cracking my
be,
back.
I know, right? I'm
It's like, oh,
the fabric is supposed to be 60 inches for this, and I didn't have 60-inch wide fabric. So I'm making it work with
yeah,
this, but sometimes I have to
get creative.
unfold it to
Yeah,
cut something.
I understand that. Oh, what am I doing? Ooh, I have an extra high noon down there. That's good to know.
Really? I'm so jealous.
I know.
I'm like suffering through my wine over here.
Yeah, I sent my husband. I was like, I want just the black cherries. He's like, you
That's the
just
black
want the
chick.
four?
I had this conversation with my aunt this week. She
Yeah.
was John's aunt Jane. I was like, I really love these high noon. She's like, yeah, but you always get stuck with like a bad flavor. I know. She's like, why can't they all be black cherry? I was like, I know.
Pauline Chantel is making a dress, and I am
Yeah.
making an ornament quilt. And I have teeny little claras and nutcrackers. I think this is going to be one that my children fight over someday.
We say those things to ourselves while we're working, but that one probably will be.
That one will be.
That's an
But
Angela one all
there
the way
aren't
through, though.
many. Well, Lily's really likes dance too. But
I just think of when you made it, though, and like Angela
yeah,
with,
is the one who's doing the dance right now and the
yeah.
nutcracker and stuff.
I've decided I don't care if this is, if the
Lily
sleeves are the same or different.
Lily stole a quilt that I intended for Angela though, so you never know.
At
You
least you have
definitely
finished
never know.
quilts.
This is true. I do have a few finished quilts.
You have a couple.
Just
Oh,
a
they
just a
you
few.
gotta bind your own quilt though.
I do. That's the unfortunate part.
You know,
I just
just glue them all.
I'm never sitting in my living room watching a movie. Like I can't tell you the last time I sat in the living room and watched anything on the television. I'm always in bed
That's her
fussing
spot.
around. Yeah, it is. And my back is unhappy about that. I literally had frozen peas on my back earlier today.
Oh my goodness.
That's where we're at in life. Let's see. Susan went to a million places. I'm not going to read them all, but if you're interested in where she went on her shop hop, they're in the chat.
Oh, wonderful. I
Ooh,
don't want to
Pauline
do
just
this
got a
anymore.
Kate Bassett quote kit. That's fun. That'll
Oh,
be bright.
nice. Where's my Brittany at?
Not here yet.
Oh,
I should have Brittany be my test reader too. She would probably enjoy it.
oh, she would. She would take that very seriously.
She
Gwendolyn would
probably
take
would.
you up on that.
Gwendolyn is a little busy at the moment.
You're
I feel
right.
like
She is.
she's
But
got a
when you
little
want
bit going
something
on in
done,
her
ask
life.
a busy person.
Yeah, I suppose. I've heard that. That's a
But you
Lin-Manuel
also don't want to
Miranda
be
thing.
rude.
Also true. Oh,
And you have a whole group of people that would be willing to do it. It's just who you would be
probably.
willing to show it to.
Exactly. I haven't even let my husband read it mostly because I feel like it's still very much not in its final form, like nowhere near its final form. But
That's okay. In my opinion, it's I don't know.
like the
It
story
makes a
is
lot of
all
sense to
there.
me that the second book is done and not the first, because the first has a lot of world building too that you
It
gotta.
does. It does. And I'm just not as excited about the relationship there. I don't know.
It is a little bit more of a cumbersome right.
Honestly, this is hilarious, is because when I originally was telling you this plan like a year ago, the love interest was going to stay the same the entire series. But
Yeah.
then I was like telling it to my husband and he's like, "Why is she still hung up on this guy?" He's like not getting his shit together. And I'm like, "You're correct. He's not. Why would she still be hung up on him?" And because she very much gets it together. And so then I was like figuring out how am I going to make that work.
It has evolved.
It has evolved significantly.
Sorry, lots of big
But
chop
yeah,
sounds
no,
if
you're
you're
good. Actually, I can't hear it.
these headphones, I tell you.
They're very good.
I was using the serger this week while we were on the phone, and I was
I
like
could not
so
even hear it.
apologetic. She couldn't hear a thing. I'm like,
I
all
mean,
I can hear is the serger.
surgers are so loud you couldn't hear it. Any of it. Oh, I gotta plug in my iron.
She bends over, grabs iron, places iron on table.
I know, basically. Ooh,
Let me narrate.
I almost knocked an entire thing of pins on the floor. That would have been
Hey,
awful.
better pins than high noons.
This is true. One time I spilled a beer on not sewn together quilt blocks that I needed to do a video with. And
Thank God there's no smell-o-vision.
well, my husband was like, I ended up washing them in like some soak, which is meant for um
I
what
have
do you
some of
call
that
it?
right here.
It's meant for like hand knits and stuff. And
They give it out as samples at like
yeah,
quilt shows and stuff. So grab some. It's
it was very much not. My husband was like, I'm so glad it was you and not me. And I'm like, well, this is
well, yeah,
accurate. You
because
would have
you
been
would
in deep
die
shit.
and I just have to live with myself.
Yeah, I know, right? Uh, Susan has many Washington fabrics now from her adventure. That
Oh,
sounds very fun.
nice.
This sounds bad because I like literally peddled fabric for a living for years. I really don't have a desire to buy any fabric right now. Like not one bit of me is like, let me get some endorphins by buying fabric.
Yeah,
It's just
I
not
still
there.
have that. I could probably still help you keep a business if you were selling fabric.
Probably.
Never left me the way it left you. Although I'm doing much better, I'm only buying essentially when Tula comes out with stuff.
Yeah.
And that's also because like you guys
We
see what
have so much. We have
I
so
make.
much. I mean, this is just garment fabric in this corner. And clearly I could be going for a long time and be okay and not need to get into any of that. But
I mean, I'm also doing fine.
and then we have all of the quilting fabric and the UFOs. Like
Yeah.
I'm set for a little while, guys. I'm
Yeah.
set.
I have my more neutral and my solids. I have
Yeah.
like a whole wall of like one shelf of solids, essentially solids. Not one of them is solid, I have to point out. They're near solids. And then some that are like black, white, or gray based. And then all the fat quarters.
Yeah.
Although I've slowly been dwindling it down a bit. So
I feel like at some point I will have made a dent in all of this. But I think that some point is going to be when I do not have kids that I'm running around all over the place.
that seems fair.
Yeah. It's gonna be a
Yeah.
minute.
It'll be a hot minute until we get to that.
I do not know which high noon is the cold one and which one's left over from last
Well,
week. I
give
think
them a
it's this
chug
one.
and you'll
I'm gonna
find
put
out.
that over there. I think we're good now. We're good. Challenges of life, right? Oh man, I'm already tired. And I already slept for like an hour and a half
I know,
tonight.
I'm also tired.
I don't know how I did this.
What time is it?
It's only
We've done
10:30.
okay. We got
We
like a half
did.
hour.
We
We
can we
can
can we can make it to 11. We can do it.
we can make it taller. Anyway. Besides, we just are being sissy pantses right now.
We are.
Because I know that if we get off of this right now, I would probably still keep going.
Oh yeah, same. I want to get these pressed for sure.
So, you know,
And then next week I can do another half of them. And then my blocks will maybe be done in 2 weeks.
ooh,
Maybe. Possible. And then I'll have to find another project because I will not be able to do this on the live anymore.
You will have to find another project. What are you
Well,
actually looking forward to making? What do you
I
want to
don't
make?
know. I mean, I have many things that are like in progress that I could pull up and just like do a
I
thing.
know, but like, what
You
would
know what?
be
I
a
have a baby quilt that I need to make that I'm actually very excited about. My esthetician, who I've been going to for years,
the one that does
um,
your nose hairs?
yeah, she ripped out my nose hairs. She's also ripped out other hairs, and then I decided
Hairs
I'm
all
never,
over.
I
She
am
deserves a
never.
baby quilt.
Well, I wax my arms because I'm Italian and hairy,
Yeah,
and I wax my eyebrows. I used to do the upper lip as well, before I did laser hair removal, and then I did a little downstairs
we've
wax one time, and I decided I'm never doing that again. Like that, like
yeah,
the humiliation and the pain. I was
no. We're
like I
not meant
used
to
to
be
do it.
dolphins. It's
My
not,
God, no. I like one time,
no.
and like the embarrassment of like being in that position in front of somebody I've known for years. It's just weird. It's not cool. And I'm just like, okay, we don't ever need to do that again. So,
Yeah,
but
I
anyway,
understand.
she has been trying for years to have a baby, years, and gave up and went on like a GLP-1 and lost
Right.
enough weight to where she ended up getting pregnant by accident. Did not find out until she was like done with her first trimester.
Oh, well, I mean, I was on that type of medication too for
Yeah.
my diabetes when I got pregnant. No, it was
Yeah.
like, so do people get pregnant on it because it helps because you've lost weight or
Yeah.
because you finally feel sexy because you've lost
I
weight?
mean, maybe both. Who knows?
I
It
was
might be a
like, this is
two-edged
like
sword.
a multi-causal,
I feel like that's probably not a question they're asking in the studies about it. I think that that's probably not in the
but like
pharmaceutical study.
seriously, it's worth thinking about.
It's a
Like,
thought. It's definitely a thought, I feel like. But so now
yeah.
she's having a baby and she's very excited because she thought she could never have a baby. And
Oh,
so she has already like gotten the nursery all ready to go. Like in month one, she'd like transformed everything. Like she was nesting immediately. So she has this beautiful sun that got painted on the whole back room of the nursery that the crib is up against. And so she sent me pictures. I want to like recreate that in a quilt where it's like the
oh, that'll be
sun
fun.
with like the bottom half and like probably the top third will like be like the sun coming up and then like big fat rays of sunshine with some fusible applique and then just quilt it like following the curves. Like
Yeah,
nothing fancy, totally can do it on my domestic with the walking foot. But it'll be perfect for her because it like will fit
it's
everything.
exactly
And
what she needs.
of course, of all the fabric I have, I do not have the right yellow. It's not happening.
Oh,
And I
well,
also feel like I need to get,
I have a yellow section. If
do
you
you?
know, let me put my
I
head down
feel
here. Yellow
like
section.
I feel like I need
You need sunshine yellow.
well, I need like a golden yellow, and then I also need it
You
to
like
be like
flowery
a
yellows?
very well, it's a boy, so I don't want to do flowers. I'm
Oh,
thinking of like a really basic mottled swirl situation because she's very clean. Like she loves like clean talk, favorite thing in her world. Uh, might be too angular. I want something more like, and I want a lot of it. I'll
that's
figure
fair.
something out. Because I want to use the same fabric for everything.
I have yellow yellow, like
That could maybe work.
Alice in Glass yellow.
But but I wanted to have some sort of like basically be a blender
Yeah.
because even though she's super clean, babies are not. And it's so much easier to hide a stain when there's like something going on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You're
I think I
probably
have a
like,
background I can use pretty easily though. I've got some, it's either Alison Glass or Juicy something that I
did you hear
100% can use for
Juicy's move
background.
to Free Spirit?
Has he? That's
Yeah.
interesting. Doesn't surprise me. He used to work at Andover Fabrics. Like he was on their payroll and
Oh,
then ended up designing too. And then I knew he moved at some point in the pandemic because he was just done being in the city. But that's why him and Allison Glass were so tight because they literally worked together
huh.
on her
Well, I
stuff.
did not know that.
I did.
I just found out he moved, and I have to admit that his new stuff is His old stuff was very Andover, and his new stuff is very free spirit, but it's still very him. Does
Yeah,
that make any sense? I feel
it
like you'll
does.
look at it and you'll see the dynamic change.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Like I loved a lot of the stuff that he did with Andover, but it was a lot of color waves of the same patterns.
Hmm.
This is just more dynamic and
Hmm.
multiple different patterns, and I think there's more colors in the screens and things like that.
Yeah, could be. I
You'll have
very
to
much
look it
feel
up.
like I'm out of the world now, which is fine. Like I literally had a conversation with someone I used to work with this week, and they used to have it was at a marketing agency, and they used to do the marketing for APQS
For who?
before for APQS. And
Okay.
so we were talking. She's like, "Yeah, we don't really have much in the quilting space anymore." And I'm like, "That's fine." Like, and she's like, "You should get involved." I'm like, "No, really, I'm good. Like I did it. I'm excited that I'm glad I did it. Don't regret doing it. But I also feel like I'm okay, like with where I'm at.
I'll take your spot.
You can do that. You can have it. You know, buy my email list.
No, no. You know what? I don't
Probably
want,
not.
never mind.
I was only half joking there. But but yeah. So, I think if I had not done it, I would always have the itch to like try my own thing. And I would never be satisfied in whatever job I was doing because I would be like, whoa, but I could do this myself. And I have done it myself, and it was cool while it lasted. And now I'm like, I'm happy to just be paid to work 40 hours a week, and that's cool.
And have a
So,
passion on the
yes,
side.
exactly. Something that I just get to enjoy for funsies as
Sewing
opposed
will come
to,
back to you too. I mean,
well,
like
I
you're
feel
still
like it's
sewing, but like
there.
you were so rapid about everything that had to be turned around. It was just wild how,
I I feel like I'm sewing at the pace a normal person would sew now. And
yeah,
so it feels
probably.
slow, but it really is not.
Probably not. Yeah.
Thank you, DK.
What did
DK
she say?
says your fabric is beautiful. She said I had a great quilting business.
Oh,
And it's not that Quilt Addicts Anonymous will never like get more attention. It's just right
no.
now I really can't do much with it because there's a lot of legal things happening to
A lot
get it
behind the
switched
scenes that has to
over.
get tidied,
Yeah.
and then and
And then I
some
can go.
therapy.
Yeah, pretty much. This is my therapy. This and the high noons.
This in the high noons. We're
And
on a different and anonymous group now.
and random phone calls to Chantel in the middle of the week. And
It's all good.
oh goodness.
I rely on those too,
Yes.
just as much as you do. Although, what did I tell you today? What did my husband do? And you were like dying laughing.
What was I
What did my
laughing about?
husband do today that had me like so excited because it was so bad?
The only thing I can think of is the conversation that I told you about that we definitely cannot repeat on air.
No. Well, the one that I feel very vindicated about.
Oh, yes. So she calls me, or I called her, and her husband had just purchased it was a motorbike, right?
Yeah, a dirt
So
bike.
it was a
He doesn't
$3,000,
listen to this, and he never
three,
has.
he's a doctor, so he can drop some money when he wants to. Um, but he's the
Still a
penny pincher.
dirty old broken.
Yeah.
Apparently, it starts.
Oh, well, there we
This
go.
is this is the priority, right?
So
Does
he
it
he
start?
purchases this thing online and he gets
Tells
a
me
great
about it.
deal on it. It's $1,500, should be 3,000. And Chantel's like, he's like, I'm just glad that he spent a bunch of money randomly on something. It makes me feel better. I'm like, so you're just gonna tuck this away
We're
for like the
stashing
right
this.
moment. Just keep that. And then
Like,
the
oh yeah,
next time he bitches about something that you spent some money on, be like, you bought.
I'm so happy. That one is so tucked in. I was like, this is packed and carry on and ready for takeoff.
Yes.
I
You just
am
you just hang on to that.
I have this just ready for the right moment whenever that moment comes. And he's like, but sweetheart, it's not a good time. And I'll be like, but sweetheart, you literally bought a motorcycle on a Thursday without permission. And I was happy for you.
That'd be perfect. She's like, I was not bad about it. I was like, really supportive of him. And I'm like, oh, you're just tucking that one away. You just hang
He's
on to
gonna
that.
pay for that.
You use it when you need it.
Oh, yes.
Oh, goodness.
It's so bad.
But this is like what marriage becomes after a little while, though, I feel like. You're just like, okay,
Hmm.
I'm just gonna remember this for later,
I
and
just
I'll
stabbed
I'll
my
use it
thumb,
when I
so I
need to.
probably deserved that, but
It's
I
all
haven't
good
used it against him yet. I just will when the time
when the
comes.
time is right. When he's wondering how much you spent on Christmas presents
Or when I
for the
accidentally run
housekeeper
into
and the
that
babysitter.
the perfect featherweight or something like that, or whatever it might end up being that,
Yeah,
I just have to have. It'll
exactly.
happen. Something will happen.
Ugh, keep wanting to
But
pop
in
my
his
head.
mind, he did woman math, but I saved $1,500.
Exactly. He absolutely did the girl math on that one.
He did.
Oh, that's funny.
And I appreciated that. He was very excited, and so I let him be excited about it because it's like,
See,
honestly, it didn't hurt me at all.
what I think is
Like,
hilarious is that your husband randomly bought a $1,500 dirt bike today, and my husband is like, "I want to buy a new video game for the kids." I'm like, "Can we just like wait until after Angela's birthday party on Sunday?" He's like, "Well, it's only $20." I'm like, "Oh, well, I'm not gonna care about $20." Like, I'm just like,
like,
I'm thinking you want like an $80 game. Like, this
right?
is not what I'm thinking. We're not on the same page here. Like,
I know
you can
John and
spend
I are on
$20
a
without
a
permission. Like,
different wavelength that way. We always have to, and the thing is that we're still, and you would attest to this, we're still like very self-conscious about like trying not to be act too rich or stuck up or anything
yeah.
like that. And we care that like
I
we have
literally
nice things, but we don't live in a mansion, and
I
like,
literally send her pictures of like American flag onesies for her husband to wear on 4th of July because he will do it. And
oh yeah,
just for funsies.
American onesies just for funsies.
Yeah, just for
John
funsies,
Irish.
basically. I totally need a cell phone so that I can randomly text him every once in a while.
I don't
I'm
want you to be able to just
I
randomly
might
text it.
finagle
If you
this.
don't have his number from college, it's the same. Then that's on you.
I'm gonna check now. I bet you I don't have it though. He deleted his Facebook, which is the problem.
It's a 224 number in case, you have any random text from 224 numbers.
I mean, I do, but not from, they're all spam.
Well, maybe one of them was my husband, also
It was
spam.
definitely not spam. All right. I do not have it. I'm gonna need to finagle this. Every once in a while, there's some funny stuff. Hi,
She read
Brittany.
this chapter about a unicorn birthday party and really
We
wants to send it to
cannot,
my husband.
we cannot explain
We can't explain
anything
anything
having to do
beyond
with this.
that. But
Not one thing. And it wasn't a birthday party.
whatever, well, it was a
It was
party.
it was a
It was
naughty
one of these
unicorn
books
birthday.
that Stephanie reads, and it doesn't
Look,
matter all that
let's be
much. But
honest.
she's like, I want to send this to John, and I was
I
like,
was
no, you won't.
I got it, the book, because there were multiple points of view narrators, and I thought this will be helpful for me as I work on my story. I did not realize that it was like
So dirty.
20% plot and 80% spice. And I was like, this is
I
not
wouldn't
what I
even call
signed up
that
for.
spice. That is just straight up
Yeah,
arsenic.
yes. It was just
It is
like
filthy, filthy, like kill you arsenic.
I cannot even listen to it because it's too much. Like it's way too much. And I'm just like, but I
I will
got
say, I
I got
take
one
the
good
book
thing from
reports
it. I got one good thing from it that I was able to use in my own writing. But
was the unicorn part.
I do send her funny things that happened within it. And I'm like, oh my God, this plotline is completely ridiculous, right?
I
There's a
love
little
the
bit
book
of plot
report.
and it's really funny.
I am
Uh,
here for the book report every single time.
I
I
haven't listened to it in
love
like
that
weeks.
I don't have to read the book, but I
She
get
literally
to
texted me
enjoy
the
the
other
book.
day and goes, I, what's the name of that? So I don't buy it. You must have been like shopping on Audible or something.
I was. There was something on sale and it was a series about vampires in a school. And I was like,
This
whoa,
can't,
red
no.
flags,
Yeah, you don't want to do that. I did
red
not realize that these
flag.
vampires were like frat boys either. Like, I'm like, I thought it was like a cool plot. And Chantel's like in any other author's hand, that could be like a really awesome thing. I'm like,
It
yeah, it
really
could have
could have
been.
been cool.
It could have been, but that's not what happened with this situation.
No.
Oh, but
Have you guys ever read a book that was surprisingly not what you thought you were getting your
I mean,
hands
that
on?
is exactly what I thought with this one. I was like, oh, I'm gonna learn all about different points of view.
I'm
It'll be
going to
great.
learn. You learned, all right.
I learned about things that I did not need to know about.
And then you can't
But
put it down because
here's the
you're like,
problem. Yeah,
oh God,
it's
oh
like
God.
it's like driving by a train wreck and you can't help but look. So like I literally ended up, even though it was so horrible, I went through the first book in like 2 days listening to it. 10 hours of this. So like 8 hours if we're going by my math of straight not plot. It's like, oh my God.
I was just
It was
getting these
ridiculous.
updates and it's like there's nothing in this book except, you know, that stuff. It's like I got like half a page of plot.
I was shocked once because there were 2 chapters of straight plot.
He was.
I texted her. It was so shocking.
It was. It was a big deal.
It was a huge deal.
We're like, wait, what's going on here? Did she, she or he finally take it seriously? Like the fact that they wrote a book that people, for some reason, like this book. It has.
It's a trilogy with a prequel, Chantel. So people really like this book, apparently.
Well, it makes me feel like maybe I could write a book, and
Maybe.
all mine's dystopian. It doesn't have anything spicy in it. It's all like sad and stuff.
Yeah.
Mine wouldn't be fun. Mine would be sociological text in 30 years, you know?
Yeah. Let's not do that. Let's not have our fiction become reality. That's no fun.
And for that, we pour another glass of wine.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe I need to open another high noon.
Oh, this is a small bottle.
Who was I talking to? Oh, today I was working out of the bookstore slash coffee shop, and the mom of one of my daughter's friends popped in, who I'm like, you become friends with your kids' friends' moms. And
Yes.
so we're talking, and she's like, what are you working on? I'm like, I finished a draft of a novel. It's like embarrassing to say out loud. And she's like, really? And I'm like, yes. And so then we're like talking. I was like, yeah, I've been kind of disassociating from life with romances. And she's like, same. I'm just like, yeah, but this is where we're all at right now.
Yeah.
Susan says cheers to your wine drinking.
Cheers. Wish you were here. Oh, I should tell you, my mother-in-law saw my shirt, told me I looked really cute, and then said I really like the dingleberries.
Okay, so Chantal has definitely had more wine than when we started because she told me not to record when she was telling me that earlier before we
No, I
started
said
getting
you
online.
should be recording.
Oh, I should be. Okay.
Like, I shouldn't say this until we're recording. It has pom-poms. It's very cute. But yeah, she told me that they were dingleberries.
That's hilarious.
He was like, they're adorable. But I think I cut out the entire thing. I have to get I have a few other little things to cut,
That's good.
little interfacings and stuff like that.
Do
That'll
you have
get
time to
here in a
work on
minute.
it tomorrow? Like, will you get to spend some time with it?
Probably not. Maybe.
Susan is also drinking wine.
Thank you, Susan.
I have not tried wine since
It's no
there was
better
a,
than it was in college, in my
well, there was
opinion.
a time when I could not drink. Like, I would have like a glass of wine and end up vomiting that night.
Oof.
Even if I wasn't affected at all by the alcohol, it just would cause that
Just
effect
turn your
for me.
stomach.
And So I didn't drink for a long, long time because it's like, why bother if
And
that's
then we
what's
were
going to
going on
happen?
this trip.
Yeah, we're going on the trip last year. This time last year, we were in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. And I was like, I got to like get,
We got to prepare.
I do, like, I need to like get my, I don't know, train myself again. So then I started drinking gin and tonics again,
It's true.
and
It
I did
started with
just
the
fine.
gin and tonics. And I was like, 2 years ago when we had our retreat where we like reconnected, we had a we had a couples retreat.
We did basically
It was just the two of us. We go on this retreat together. We've been friends for so many years, but
like 20 years.
we
Yeah.
weren't like best friends close at that point.
I
And
think you were a little concerned that it was going to be weird,
there's
but then it
always
ended
an
up not
opportunity
being
for it
weird.
to be weird. Like I'm
It
an
was not
introvert
weird.
extrovert.
We had such a good time.
It was so good. And of course, I had the opportunity to be weird. I mean, being in a house with somebody sewing for 3 days, it has the opportunity to be weird. Your food could have been terrible, but it wasn't. It was
It wasn't.
fantastic.
I did a good job with the food.
It's so good. And um, but we were there and I brought high noons and you brought your little seltzer drinks. And I was like, no, try them. And she's like, I can't. And now look at you
No, I'm drinking them all the time.
and drink them all the time. They're really
All the time.
wonderful.
They are quite lovely.
And it's so much better than this. I know this is supposed to be a fancy thing, and we have so many bottles of wine because they feel like everybody comes over and brings a bottle of wine. We must have 50 bottles of wine.
So what you want is a pack of High Noons Black Cherry.
Yeah, like everybody just walk in the house. None of this, like be a hospitable guest. Don't give me grapefruit. Bring me black cherry. That's
There we go.
all I want.
One time, my husband accidentally brought home the tequila version of it, and I was like, I don't know what I feel about this.
Oh, what's the tequila one?
I don't know. It was like
It
High
wasn't
Noon.
great.
It wasn't like awesome, and it wasn't awful.
You
It
drank
just had
it.
different flavors. I did,
I
and I
need to
did not
find the
complain
Shape
about it.
Flex. I can't find it back here. I have a little storeroom.
Is that what we're supposed to be cleaning when I come over?
Yes,
We're supposed to clean,
the
drink,
storeroom.
and name characters and places.
Can't wait. You should let everybody name one of the characters.
That could be highly entertaining.
Everybody can vote.
Uh, I need a really good name for a father who is, um,
Medieval times, mind you.
it's medieval times. So I've been like Googling like old English names and stuff like that. And their meanings, like the meanings like matter because I want the name it to like make sense for like their personality. So this dad, who is currently only known as Veronica's father, he is a social climbing rich lord who is trying to use his wealth to basically secure a marriage for his daughter and and raise their family status through that.
So, what kind of skeezy snake name would you suggest for a
Yes.
father
So
that
he's
is a medieval
basically
lord?
yeah, he's basically like the big pain in the butt
We need a name.
until
Come
he
on,
finally
roll the
until
dice.
he
You might be in a
finally
book,
gets
friends.
yeah, until he finally gets his comeuppance and gets shut down. So that's where I'm at on that.
I feel like you should name him John.
You know, your
That'd
husband
be
might have something to
hilarious.
say
Name
about
him
that.
Adam.
Oh, he would be so mad.
This is
So
our
mad.
opportunity.
This is our opportunity. That's hilarious. Name him John. John would not use Hazel to increase his social standing.
No, but he would use
Never ever.
Penny. No,
You
I'm
think
just
so?
kidding.
Uh,
I cannot find my Shape Flex. It has
I just want to
fallen into
share
this
this.
closet and it is in the depths of despair somewhere in this room.
If you cannot find more, I'm sure I have something that will work that I could bring.
Yes, but I
But I want to show my
need it.
nutcracker
Oh,
and my
I want to
Clara,
see.
and I think maybe sugar plum.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
so fun.
That one's so
I'm
cute.
I'm totally done sewing
You
for
know
the
what would
night.
be really fun? To do that pattern as like Oriental lanterns.
That could be fun.
My grandmother did my double wedding ring in various Asian fabrics. And it is so beautiful. They have different sheens and everything
Mhm.
like that. I can imagine that done in the similar fabrics. I am looking over there because it's over there, but it's
Yeah.
super
There
cool.
is a a moment in time where I wanted to do a double wedding ring, and then I came to my senses
Mm.
and I decided,
I bought the
no,
AccuQuilt die for it because I
that
want
would
to
be
do
the
one.
only way. That would be the only way.
That's the dies that I tend to buy are
Yeah.
the ones where I'm going to make 37,000 5x5 blocks done
Susan Susan
or a
says
double wedding ring.
Susan says the character sounds like her first husband and that he should be named Wayne.
We're here for you, Susan.
I'm sorry.
He
Sorry you had to
he
go
can
through
be
that.
temporarily named Wayne.
It can be temporary. Yes, that can totally work. What is the
Wayne's not
meaning?
necessarily a
I'm
medieval name, but
I'm totally Googling Wayne name meaning.
we want to know.
I need to know this.
This might lead
Wagon,
us somewhere.
wagon maker or wagon driver is the old English word meaning of it. Oh, that's funny.
Is there another
But
term?
it is an old English word.
I feel like we need something like wagon.
Well, the king's name is Dagon, so we can't do
Yeah,
that.
I know. I have a Dagon.
Yes,
Wagon would be too much. You need
it would be
like,
too close.
mm,
We have a good Marcus. Marcus could be a thing, but
what does Marcus mean?
I don't know.
Steve, maybe we'll just get this done now. Everybody will help.
Dedicated to
Veronica's dad's
Mars.
temporary name is Wayne, though. So
Okay,
we all
it
can
sounds
agree on
good.
that.
His dedicated to Mars, so probably war or something like that.
Well, we need dedicated to Bond.
Susan says I have her permission. Oh, that's funny.
That's really funny.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I,
But yeah,
forevermore, you can know if you ever read this spicy little book that your friend Stephanie has written.
it's only
That when you
like
get to the
it's
part with
not that much
Veronica's
spice.
father,
There's like
it's Wayne.
90% plot. 90% plot, I'm gonna say,
Oh, yeah.
at
I don't
least.
have that many post-it notes to cover that many pages. And I promise to be the one to go through and cover up any spicy parts and
So
say
that my
they're
parents
kissing
can read it.
here. And then,
Uh,
you go a couple pages and it's like they're still kissing, so I'm going to cover up all the things, censor it,
yes,
basically.
she
Not
is.
censor, it's more
Make
like
it
on a
parent
movie
approved.
where they like
Yes.
blur things out.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like that.
Like, yeah. I was trying to figure out, it's like 200 pages in when we get our first like true spicy scene.
Appropriate. We
Yes.
don't want to be like
I mean,
10 pages in.
there's plenty of buildup, but it's like 200 pages.
I'm just proud of you for breaking out of the shell and just saying, hey, you know what?
I'm gonna do it.
I'm going to do it.
I'm gonna do it. It's not ready for public consumption yet, Susan. Currently, I literally written 120,000 words. It's
I have a
325 pages
300
long.
page thing to read
It is.
in my spare time.
I Googled it would be something along the lines of 400 pages in an actual book. So this is not a small thing. You don't have to get to it right away. But plot is there,
Oh, I
dialogue
have a
is there.
vacation coming up at the end of June, and that is getting read on a beach.
Perfect. But everything is in third person right now, and it needs to get split up into first person over two different narrators. So that's the part I told Chantel, I'm like, I just need to read books that I read before so that I'm not paying attention to the plot. I'm paying attention to how people talk and what their inner thoughts are in between the talking.
And that's really hard to look up to
Yeah.
look up and say how I need to find books that are narrated in this style. Like what
I I'm gonna
for
reread
that?
Quicksilver is the first one that I pulled out.
That seems like a personal choice.
But I really like the narrator in that one because
Hmm.
she is feisty.
I need to read that anyways too,
Yeah,
but
she's feisty and a little unhinged at times, and
As soon as I get over these boring Akatar books, I
I'm not
wouldn't say
sure
they're not boring.
they just don't have enough
They don't
action for
hook
you.
me often enough. I'm like, it's like when you go fishing, pretend you're the fish,
Yeah,
and the person has like so opportunity to bite the hook,
yeah,
and occasionally the worm gets nibbled off by another fish, and you're like, I'm not going to bite now. That's
yeah,
how a lot of the chapters feel to me. They're
yeah.
not like, oh, I want to bite. There's something has to happen in every chapter to make it worthy of a chapter.
I
Whereas
think
she
this is
uses
why
chapters like breaks of paragraphs, not
I
breaks of opportunity.
I think you're gonna really like Fourth Wing whenever you get to that.
I started it, like, started a few pages of it, and it was already a little bit more, it's a little more,
Like the first two chapters are like introducing you to the world, but
mhm,
the second she's about to cross the parapet, like the action starts and it really doesn't stop.
yeah. Like I've gotten through the informational chapters even, and
Yeah.
usually, like in Akatar, it's taken over 8 chapters. And we know this for a fact because we've like plotted
We
it out
split it out. Yeah.
ourselves to get to a point where your world is sort of set and
Not
not much
really,
else has
because
happened.
you're about to go into a whole new world. But
Yeah. So just the ADHD brain on a book. It's funny because I can stop in the middle of a chapter. Like that might not be the case for other people. I can be in the middle of a sentence and just be like, you know what? I'm done right now.
yeah,
But books that I can't put down.
yeah,
And it just has to be like enough of a dopamine hit often enough
yeah.
that it's like gambling. Those are the kind of
Whenever
books I love.
whenever I do start, because I wrote the second book first for anyone who missed the beginning. Whenever I do start actually writing the first one, there's like a massive battle in like chapter two. Like
And some stuff
we're
happens.
we're gonna meet our main character, and then we're gonna meet our main male lead, and they're gonna almost kill each other in like chapter two. So like
She has this in mind, knowing that I have to read this and be entertained.
yes, pretty
And that if the
much.
ADHD brain can be entertained by this, then
Good night,
everybody,
Brittany.
then
Honestly,
you've won.
you know what my biggest inspiration is for how to make sure something is good in a chapter is I read, what is it even called? It's this dragon series that my kid and I have read
Oh, yeah.
like 15 books of. And
It's not the How to
I
Train a Dragon. It's a different
it's not
one
How
than
to
that.
Train a
It's
Dragon, it's different. Um,
the Dragon Magic one that
yeah.
I don't remember.
Literally every single chapter ends with a cliffhanger to where you're like, "Oh my God, please let me read more and move on to the next one." And even as an adult, I'm like, "Well, and like they might resolve it in like the next sentence, but it's just like but you're like, but I need to know what happens to this character. And so that's kind of how I structure the first book.
You have to fall off the cliff to the next chapter every single
Yeah,
time.
that's
And
how
it's
I
funny the
started the
amount
first
of
one.
children's books and young adult books that I have devoured because they do
They do that.
format it like that.
Yeah,
It doesn't have to be less adult because it's formatted like that.
yeah.
I think, I don't know.
That I'll be interested to see what you think about the pacing of that.
I won't be mean, but I'll be honest.
No, I need honesty. I need honesty because I need to get it good.
But I'm also intrigued by the story and I know it well at this point. So I'm interested to see how some of the humor plays out and the personality traits that I don't understand so well plays out.
Hmm.
That'll be really fun.
I'm interested to see. I mean, I know I need to set the scene better in a lot of places, but like what your impression of the world is
I
for what I
can't
have
wait to
so
do
far.
world building stuff.
Yeah. And
That'll be
then
really fun. Get out the
that will be
medieval
fun
books.
for sure. And then I don't know how she changes over time because like she's a foul-mouthed lady And
She
then
in her
the
mind.
more, the more, well, and out loud, but the more upset she is and the more rattled she is, the worse it is. And so there are entire chapters where she's not dropping F-bombs. But at the very beginning of the book, it's a lot. Because
She's
because
got
she's
some like
rattled. She's got some stuff going on that she's working through. And
yeah.
yeah,
Well, and some of that will change too when you change up your narrator situation
yeah.
because people
I've
are
been
seeing
going
her one
through,
way, but she's saying another thing in her head.
I've been going through and actively pulling F-bombs out of other characters so that hers are so much more pronounced. Like
That's an
I'm
author right there.
like there are ones that I'm like leaving in just because it makes sense for the situation. But but for the most part, I'm actively pulling back a
They need
lot
to
of
come up
them.
with their own swears too.
I
I feel
know.
like what were swear words back then?
I don't know. We'll
That's a
figure something out.
Googleable thing.
This is a Googleable thing. I'll also be interested, since you know so much of the story, how many Easter eggs you pick up on, because I've told you
I
about some of
am
them.
I am going to be on the look and
Yeah,
probably completely oblivious to them
it's all good.
at the
But
same time.
I've been having so much fun because I've been in the midst, like I just keep going back and forth between all three outlines, like putting things in and moving things around. And
It's
since
like the
most of the
perfect little puzzle.
It is. And now that like most of the dialogue is set, like I was working, like I had written like the entire second book, and then I'm like messing around in like chapter 5. And I'm like adding the sentence that is just a flippant sentence in the middle of a conversation that does not seem important, that ends up being, it's just
Important later
foreshadowing
on. It's
something
just a
very
little
important that
doohickey.
happens later. And I'm just like, ooh, this is fun. And so
I
I
told
don't
you,
know how other people's processes work, but
you
this
need
has
to
been
read
fun for
Harry
me.
Potter, and the main reason is because you know that she is like the
The
queen of being
master.
able to
Yeah.
drag somebody in for a long time and to be able to drop like a character in at some point that ends up later, just one
I
little
mean,
thing.
it's not that I haven't read her. I've read all of the Cormoran
Oh,
Strike
you've
books.
read all of her like real stuff,
Yeah,
like, but I mean, even
not the
her
fantasy.
her kids stuff. It's
Like I knew what Boots was when we went to London, because of, watching or reading those books. Like her description of London, like it was absolutely what London was like, which was really cool.
that her description of location
Yeah.
is unmatched by many. And she can do it relatively quickly. She can take you into a world. That's going to be important for book
Yeah.
one.
I very much failed at that assignment in my creative writing class in
Oh no.
college. I was
Well,
this
I'm
really
there.
hilarious story. We were supposed to describe a setting. And so I went to my friend's dorm, and it was a boy, not a boy that I was dating, although I probably should have at some point, but we're gonna not
That's
talk
a
about that.
different story
That's
for a
a
different
whole nother
day.
story. Um, Tim Glinski, if you're listening. I guarantee he's not. Anyway,
And never
um,
will.
no, definitely not gonna make it this far deep
No,
into the podcast. Um,
their
I
own
love my
husbands can't make
I
it.
love my husband so much, and I'm so glad that I'm with him. But anyway, so I'm sitting in his dorm room, trashed, like just crap absolutely everywhere, all over the place. So I'm trying to
Boys'
describe
dorm room.
like the boys' dorm room, and it was literally like 3 pages of describing mess, and I did not do well on that assignment. Like maybe I needed a slightly better situation there.
Well,
That professor goes to my church. I probably could sit down and have coffee with him and get him to read my book.
that's not a bad idea.
It wouldn't
But
be a bad
then that
idea.
could just be another assignment you fail.
It could be. Oh God.
That's
Hilarious.
crazy though. I mean, you literally live in the neighborhood of where you went to college, and so
I
you
know. All my
you
English professors go to my church. Every single one. My poetry professor, she goes to my church. My creative writing professor goes to my
that's
church.
not awkward at all.
Not in one bit.
I was in sociology and anthropology. I'm pretty sure none of them go to church.
Probably
So
not. Probably
probably
not.
not. They have no more hope in society at this point. So
Oh goodness.
The other half of my studies was spent taking random electives that nearly got me an environmental science minor. Did you know that?
I
I
could have
was
had a music
too
minor
I was too class.
or fine arts minor.
You should have,
I should
played
have.
the saxophone. Um,
I know. We've told that story too many times.
I know, but it's always funny when I bring it up because you're
It
just
is.
like I can see the like palm print to your forehead permanently there.
So this is why I thought about this recently because I was thinking, why wouldn't they just do this? Why wouldn't they realize that like this is a good option for like a character? And I was like, because I spent 4 years in choir and never thought I could play saxophone. So clearly people can have like,
Lapses.
yeah, lapses where they're like make good decisions, but they're like, oh, I didn't even think that I could do X, Y, Z. Like,
This
ah,
is the proof.
I know, right? Did I tell you about my dead plants in the kitchen and my husband's commentary on it?
You kind of did, but you got to share it because
Oh, it's
it's pretty
funny.
funny.
So around Christmas, I bought a just two herb plants. It was like sage and rosemary or something like that. And then I never watered them and just let them die. And so they're sitting on my hutch in the kitchen. But it's like a decoratively displayed hutch. It's not like a functional
Yeah,
hutch. I mean,
it's
there's
the
baking stuff in
hutch.
it.
If
But
you
yeah,
know
it's
the
it's
old
the
hutch.
hutch that used to be in my videos, like when I first started. And next to it is a book that says How to Make a Plant Love You, because I love that YouTuber. And so
You're a narcissistic plant owner.
I have my two dead plants, and then I have How to Make a Plant Love You right next to it. And my husband is like, I think you need to do something about this. And I'm like, that would be a plot detail or a setting detail that I would include for a character if I ever did anything contemporary. He's like, yeah, to show how like unhinged and uncoordinated they are. And I'm like, yeah, I'll own that. It's fine.
You're literally a narcissistic plant owner. Like
Apparently,
how to
yes.
make a plant happy. It just sits there while the plants like die on the
Dying.
shelf.
I never took it out of the
You're like
pot that it came
gaslighting them.
in.
Like I have the
I
opportunity to make you happy. You're not worth it.
yeah, I it's ridiculous.
Are
And
you worth it?
I'm aware that it's ridiculous. And
I can't keep plants alive. We all know this. I have two plants that are named aptly because they've lived so long. One is named Planty and the other is named Planty 2.
mm.
Literally Planty 2, not like
Susan
Planty also.
Susan says she does have an anthropology professor who goes to her church. So apparently they're not all jaded at society.
Okay, well, that's good to know. Mine
Oh,
are mostly jaded at that point. Although I did have a sociology professor that was a Quaker,
oh,
which is pretty cool. I looked for Quaker churches in the area and there are none. There's one up in LaSalle, Peru, or something like that.
I remember we had to take religion classes. We were at a Lutheran college, and I like grew up in Sunday school every single.
Yeah. Didn't
I
you
did
learn
not.
a ton though? It was weird.
I know. Like I remember one of my English professors, if we were doing American English, he's like, if you're gonna understand American English, you gotta know your Bible. I'm like, I'm cool. I got it. We're good.
I got the
And
Bible school in my heart.
I'm good. I know all the stories. And so I took every other religion class that I could take when we had our
Hmm.
electives. Like I
Me
did
too.
like Eastern religion because I'm like, I want to know things I don't know. I don't want to hear more about the stuff
The
I've
things that I
spent
know. Yeah.
literally my entire life learning every Sunday.
I took a number of
And
religion courses too, like ethics, religion and
yeah,
ethics and religion, women in religion studies and things like that.
what I thought was interesting though is like everyone looking at it from a Judeo-Christian perspective, they'd be like, "Oh, this is so weird." And they're like, you literally like take a wafer every Sunday and you believe that it's the body of Christ and you think that this is weird. And it's like, yeah, we just need to look at it
This
from
is
different
your blood.
perspectives. Yes,
Like,
I know, right?
I know
I
it.
I will tell you though, so I grew up in a very, very
Did I?
religious place. Like we did not have
Her whole
um
place was religious. I grew up
it
in a
was
religious
weird.
household.
Yeah, it was like we would only have grape juice for communion. We never had wine.
Yeah,
So
we didn't either.
even today, like
We
I
had
can
no alcohol whatsoever in our
yeah,
homes or anything like that. Not in my mother's home, but through the grandparents' home and things like that. Like
yeah.
my grandparents were missionaries. My
Yeah.
mother grew up in South Africa,
Yeah.
you
You're
know.
very, very much so.
We
But
were
so
indoctrinated. Wow.
yeah,
We're
basically,
having a
yeah.
moment. It's the
We are
wine.
having a moment. But like the chalice, like there's a section for grape juice, there's a section for wine, and I always still do the grape juice. Like I can't separate that from my brain. Although this is
I
hilarious.
like the
So
grape juice.
one time I was holding my daughter who's just turned 11 this week, and she was maybe 1 or 2. And so I'm holding her in one hand and taking communion in the other. And we had a pastoral intern who was giving out the communion that day. And she just grabbed a wafer, dunked it in the wine, stuck it in her mouth before anybody could do anything about it. She's like maybe 2. And everybody is looking at her like, oh my God, the kid just took communion and she dunked it in the wine. And and she just has this
And
look
like
on her face like this
that
is
kid's
not a
going to
good.
Augie.
She's like this kid. She looks at it. She just looked like this is not a good cookie. Like she ate it, but she
This
was
is
just like,
terrible cookie.
I don't know. And I'm just looking at this pastoral intern who's just like against like the fear of God in his face. Like, oh my God, I just let a 2-year-old like have
You're like, it's
wine with
fine.
communion. And
She's
I'm like,
probably
it's
had
fine.
more in
She,
breast milk than
she'll have
this.
a
Fine.
good nap today. It's okay.
I remember asking my mother why more people didn't take from the salts, like the Ritz cracker, not the Ritz cracker, the saltine cracker on the side. Like there was a saltine cracker on the side of our
Yeah,
plate
ours was
that
saltine cracker too, but now I
that
have
you
like
could
there's
take,
actual
or
wafers.
you could take the unleavened or whatever. And I was like, why aren't people taking the salty one? It's so much better. Like this body of Christ just tastes better. And mom's like, just just can't say that when they're handing this stuff out. Like, and
The
now I
things
have
that
that
get said
child that would
would say
blurt
that.
the same thing, you know?
Oh goodness, that's hilarious.
And I remember also asking, like, why don't we hand out the real wine like other churches? Why is it grape juice?
My entire town was dry. The first liquor license was
I didn't mean to
issued.
cringe so terribly there.
Oh, well, it was. The
Ugh.
first liquor license was issued when I was a senior in high school because they wanted Applebee's to come to town. And
Applebee's.
Applebee's would not come to town unless they could serve their mixed drinks. So they gave them
Can
a
you imagine
spot.
a dry Applebee's? That would be
I know.
awful.
So, but we had like
Nobody
a
would want to eat
jewel.
there.
We had a jewel that did not sell alcohol
I,
because it was not allowed. And then, so they found this place that was not in the original city limits and they let it be there.
like
And
an
then
incorporated area.
basically, and then right afterwards, 2 grocery stores got liquor licenses too as part of it. But this was like 2003 that they issued their first liquor license in this town because it was founded as a religious utopia in like the early 1900s by the church that I grew up in.
I do remember going on a
It was
vacation with
wild.
John's family. John's family, so when my family went on vacation, we went to a condo in Florida kind of thing. It was like through my grandparents. It was never through my mom. Like she was in grad school and things like that. We went with my grandparents and we'd stay at a nice condo or whatever on the beach. And that was a vacation. John's family vacations were more creative, like going to random caves in the middle of a town called Pig, Kentucky, and taking his girlfriend along with to see the wonders that places like Pig, Kentucky have to offer. Well, let me tell you, Pig, Kentucky has like 8 mini golf courses and is a dry county, and you cannot get to any booze within like a 20-mile radius. That was the first time I experienced, I was with his family. I think we had just been married. It was already awkward enough to be like on this long car trip where they would stop at random tourist traps. Like we just stopped at Metropolis, Illinois to see the
Oh, that's a
Superman,
fun one. It's hilarious.
you
If you
know?
ever get to go to Metropolis, Illinois, go see the Superman and take a picture in front of it.
Yeah. And there was also this weird grocery store that had a big guy out the front. We took a picture with that guy too, because why not? Because you're in a big van in the middle of nowhere and this is what you do. But that was my first experience with the idea that there were counties that would not sell alcohol. And we just happened to be staying at a not so shady sort of resort that was a real golf course, not a mini golf course, that one. was a real golf course, um, hotel room, and they did get us our own room adjacent with door connecting. We were like newlyweds. It was
Yeah,
very, very weird in
that
a
would be
dry
very weird.
county. John's dad literally drove like 40 minutes out of the way one direction to go to a gas station
Go get some
across
beer.
county lines. It
That
was a
was the
very
weirdest
memorable
part.
vacation.
Is like, so the town is called Zion, Illinois, which, makes a lot of sense. It's called Zion, Illinois, Founders Religious Utopia. And but like the second you hit either side of the town where there's like Beach Park on one side and with Prover on the other, alcohol immediately. And I don't know
Yeah.
how it is today. It's been so long since I've like, it's not like I've gone to a gas station to try and buy beer ever when I've been there. But I usually go to the Wisconsin gas stations and get myself some New
Some
Glarus
New
to bring back to my
Glarus.
husband. That's where I go get my gas.
It's like,
But
Wisconsin, you need to share the wealth over here,
I
okay?
know New
We
Glarus
deal with your
beer
Packers fans.
needs to
You could give
be
us some New
available
Glarus.
everywhere. Everywhere. I need spotted cow anytime I want it.
Absolutely. Well, I think I'm just going to pour the rest of this in. I did start this early, and I think John had some.
It's
It was
okay.
just me.
I'm not going to judge you.
It tastes better the further you get into it. It's 2021 from Kirkland's brand. That means it was probably made in 2021.
You're really letting that age well, Chantel. You're doing a great job.
Like, I mean, like not just made in 2021. It was probably bought that year because
That's funny.
we have people
We're
that
fancy. We're so
we
fancy.
associate with their friends that have wine cellars, wine rooms, the size of my sewing room. And you know how grand my studio is
It's
compared to
big.
most people.
It's very big.
They have entire studios like this just for their wine. Walls covered, cellars, multiple. If they replaced all that wine with books, I would literally,
Living there.
I can't imagine the things I would do to be friends with them.
Have you seen on like TikTok and stuff where people have like hidden libraries in their house? Like you
Yes,
open a door and
John's
then it's like
uncle
this
made one.
magical, really? Oh my
He did
gosh.
not make one in his house. He's a carpenter and does a
Okay.
lot of odd jobs. And he made one in this house in Mount Pulaski, Illinois. And what it was is that he made a trip, like it's a book,
Yeah.
book storage, bookshelves, and things like that, trip door
Apparently you
that
can buy those
opens,
stuff at like big box stores now. It's so popular.
it trips into it all in an entire open room and an extra bathroom. You
Okay.
can live in there.
I, if I become a millionaire writing this book, I will have one of those.
I will make sure you have one of those. I will
Yes,
design it and draw up the plans
it will
myself
happen. And when we can
and
film
make
our
sure that it
podcast
is
in
done
there,
correctly.
we'll
You
film
will
our
have the
podcast in there. It'll
book,
be great.
whichever book you want. Just pull that book
Yep.
and the doors will open.
And you're,
It could be your book. Honestly, it'll probably be your book. It'll be the second book. You
it'll
pull the
be, yes.
second book because
Uh,
that's the one that's going to make it. Like
maybe.
the first book's going to be good, but you know that people like, if they get to the second book, that's when they've eaten in like the idea of the story and they want
Yeah.
more. They've
I,
latched onto the hook, they're hooked, and you're reeling them in.
so I was like all over the place. Like I'd plotted out all of book one, not
Mhm.
as deeply as I did like the rest of it. And then I plotted out all of book two. And then I was like really getting in deep, like to where I had over 150 words just in an outline for book three. And then I was like, I really need to know where my characters are at the end of book one so that I can land them really well in book three.
Mhm.
So then I got totally distracted and spent a ton of time on book one and like really developing her love interest to the point where, because he's gonna have a little bit of a redemption in book three. Not with her. Like they're not gonna get back together.
There's a
She's
redemption
sad.
arc for somebody that needs it.
Yes.
Two
And
people, really.
yes. And
There's a lot
So
of redemption arcs. There are opportunities for
there
people
are
to turn things
multiple
around.
redemption arcs. I've got a really good one with one character, and I want one with him
I
too.
like that though, because
But
it's
I
not.
also had to figure out how am
Mhm.
I going to get it to where, like, because I wanted her to be like close to in love, but not all the way there because she thinks she's maybe not
He
capable
needs
of
a
it.
fatal flaw or she needs a flaw.
Well, she has many flaws, but
But the flaw that makes it a disconnect.
yeah. So when they leave, basically I start out book one where she gets a really rude awakening of who he is outside the castle and how he deals with his own grief. But because it's from her perspective and she's only seen parts of it,
Hmm.
she thinks he's just like doesn't care.
Yeah.
And we're not going to find out that he does in fact care and he's just dealing with his grief in his own way until we're like solidly into book three.
And that's why it's so good.
Yeah,
It's really good.
but
I'm
I don't
proud of
know.
you.
I'm having fun with it.
You've
I'm having so
you've
much fun. But I
ther
like I really
you've
needed it to be
therapized
like
yourself. Is that a word?
basically
Therapized. We're
maybe.
making that a word.
But I just wanted him to have like a really good like we feel really bad for him and where he's at the end of book one. So that way we can really hate him at the beginning of book two.
It's going to be very hard to read it all in third
Yeah.
because so much spin will happen when it's
Yeah.
in first. So, first person being where the person is the narrator, where you
Yeah.
have Lena saying the story from her perspective. Well, that can be really inaccurate,
I
right?
think you'll be okay
I know I will be okay because
for
I
now.
I know so much of what's
Yeah.
going on, but it'll be really fun to see when you start deciphering it and you start
Yeah.
decoding it because there are so many fun things that can happen when you have, you know,
I
a
think it's
narrator like
mostly
that.
like what's going to be
Somebody can see it
described.
one way and you see it another way. How many times do you go through a conversation and then, like, the next day you're talking yourself through that conversation? Like, did they think I was weird? Did they think,
Hmm.
did I, did I offend them possibly when I said that? And they're like, not thinking about it at
And
all.
these characters throughout all the second book are learning how to hide their true desires and emotions as
Hmm.
part of leadership training. So
It's
that
just
way
so
when
sad when you
so that
really think about
yeah,
what leadership is, but it's not
yeah,
just these days, right?
yeah.
It's just,
So they get really good at it and it helps them be able to accomplish what they need to accomplish.
but it
But
also leads the story in a really cool direction.
yeah, but
She's very into her book. This is what she's sewing together, guys.
this is basically what I'm saying
It's a
together, yes.
patchwork of chapters right now.
I think though when you read it, like it's in third person only because I didn't want to embody their voices yet.
Hmm.
But I
I
think
think you know
like
their voices.
all their motivations are there. I'm getting their voices better now, especially
Now,
now
I
that I've
have to ask
decided
you, is that a t-shirt or a moo?
this is a movie. And I had to put
Should
I
we
had to
play
put
that
on a
game?
nurse I had to put on a nursing bra because it's a little see-through. And I was like, we do not need to have that on the internet
T-shirt or
forever and
moo,
always.
friends?
This is a Valentine's one from Walmart.
I was gonna say it's kind of cheetah print, but
Yep,
it's
it's like a
hearts.
cheetah. It's a cheetah heart, and it is like T length, which I like with like some slits on the side. I can just putz around the house and I'm totally covered and I'm good to go.
That's awesome.
I did get dressed today and I left the house. So we should all
I
applaud
put a
me.
bra on for this.
See, I normally don't wear a bra for this.
I don't either, but white shirt, this is wish you were here
Yeah,
across the
you
chest.
definitely
It's
need that
just,
for that.
with dingleberries. Show the
Oh goodness.
dingleberry.
That's hilarious though. It's really funny.
It's like maybe they're flare, not dingleberries.
Office Space.
We both have dogs though, like
Yeah. Oh, I get it.
it's like I deal with dingleberries all the time. I have a little Yorkie poo who's like 16 years old. Like
Can't bend the way he used to.
he just can't clean himself the way he used to, and he has that Yorkie hair and poor man.
It's all good.
and we don't have carpet. He can't like,
Oh, gross.
he can't.
I don't even want to think about that.
That was great though. That motion, you knew.
I knew exactly what you were talking about. There was no question.
This is friendship, guys. This is what
Oh
this is.
God. This is, yeah, for sure.
So what
All
about
right.
your robot vacuum? Is that you gonna go charge it then tonight?
I should go plug it in, yeah, when I get off here. It is 11:30. We could call it a night and I
We
could
should
plug in
probably
my
call it
robot
a night.
vacuum.
But with that,
I don't think we're
yeah,
gonna get any better than that, Chantel.
probably
I
not.
think I think we've hit rock bottom probably for the night,
And
and
we hit the top and the bottom
we did.
all in one step.
But yeah,
Besides, I'm done cutting. I can't find my
you
shape
can't.
flex, and it's not meant to be.
Let me know if you can't find it. I'm sure I have stuff around here. I can give you Sunday.
It is somewhere nearby. Where, I don't know, but probably for the best. I would have started sewing and ironing and all of that. And,
Ada is laughing at you and your Ah,
we all knew. If you
that's
know, you
funny.
know.
If you know, you know.
You know,
If
you
you're
know.
still here with us, then you're our kind of people and you're good with
I
that.
mean, I feel like we're what, 49 episodes into this. If you know us at this
Yeah.
point, you know. It is what
We're
it is.
we're gonna be a little unhinged at some point and we're gonna get off topic and it is what it
Yeah.
is.
Is there a topic? Do we have a topic anymore?
We have not planned topics in some time. It's okay.
This is just for the fun of seeing everybody every week and,
For sure.
you know,
Alrighty.
we'll see what next week brings. It might be a together episode, it might not. It would be kind of fun though. It is our 50th.
It is. We should open it up.
We should probably get some
We
balloons.
did
I'm
talk
sure they
about
have
that.
those for 50th anniversary.
Except where do you get them now that Party City's closed?
Oh, that's true. Never mind. No balloons.
I bought all the Pokemon stuff for my daughter's birthday like months ago when it was going out of
You're
sale.
like, you want a different theme? Wrong.
Too bad. You're stuck with Pokemon.
You
You
can get
can do Hunger
Pokemon.
Games next year.
This is the Hunger Games now. You have to win this birthday party to get
I know,
Hunger
right?
Games next year.
If you want Hunger Games, then we have to add laser tag on to Skate City next year. It's just gonna have to be that way.
It's just gonna you win a bag of rice. You win laser tag.
Fantastic. All right. Before we go any crazier, have a good night.
Hi guys.